Hey guys, and welcome to another one-year review. This time we're taking a look at last year's Every Time I Die album, From Parts Unknown. So From Parts Unknown came out in 2014, which means that we've been listening to it for about a year now. As I said in my original review, Every Time I Die are just one of those bands that are so good at bringing in many different genres and elements and just making a fantastic album with all those different ideas, and they kind of melt it into something that's completely cohesive. You know, they've got the elements, heaviness of metalcore in there. They've got the off-the-wall nature of mathcore. They've got, you know, the punk mentality of hardcore in there. And yet all those different genres and ideas kind of just come together on this album and for the band in general. So this album, I said, is kind of one of their heaviest albums that they've ever released in terms of their sound. You've got, you know, some blast beats on there. You've got Keith Buckley going back and forth between his kind of soulful sound to his just screaming, his guttural, you know, screaming at you. Particularly the opening track is fantastic for that. It starts off with the guitar chord and just blows up in your face with Keith Buckley just screaming. You got songs like Idiot, which just has this amazing breakdown kind of towards the beginning of the song. And yet for all the heaviness on this album, it still has that fun nature that they've kind of been known for, that kind of, as I described it, partycore sound. You know, this is a lot of these songs, like particularly Decaying with the Boys and Thirst, are songs that you would play probably at a party where you're just, you know, sitting back with your guys and gals and just drinking some beers and whatever you do. And it's just they're fun songs to listen to. They've got that kind of sarcastic feel to them. They're just fantastic tracks to listen to, and they kind of break through that heaviness. And they're not just, you know, this album's not heavy to the point where it's depressing or oppressive at all. It's just it becomes fun to listen to. But there are some tracks on this album that I didn't particularly enjoy. I would say Old Light is one of them, and El Dorado is another one that they kind of just don't do anything for me. I wouldn't say they're bad songs. Old Light kind of feels a little bit generic to me. El Dorado just doesn't really do anything for me. I can understand how people like those songs, but they just not anything that I really particularly enjoy. So after a year, how does this album hold up? I would have to say very well. It definitely still, you know, it's still in my lineup. It's still in my library. I still keep it with me when I drive, and that's kind of my measure of a good album. If I'm throwing songs on my playlist when I drive, which is where I listen to most of my music, that's the sign that this album has kind of stuck with me. There are a lot of songs that did stick with me on this, particularly the opening track and Idiot. You know, I think More is probably one of the better songs on this album. It's more experimental on their part. It's just this weird song, hard to describe, but you should listen to it. It is a very good song, but it's kind of abrasive. It is something that some people probably, you know, it's off-key at times, probably something that not everyone is going to enjoy, but I think after a few listens, it actually holds up, and I think it gets better with time. You kind of learn to appreciate that song on this album. So I want to thank you guys for watching another one-year review. Just please leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think, and if you have anything you want me to review, just go ahead and let me know.